Hello, I am here with Mike Feldman from Xerox. We are doing a little conference call, a little check-in, a video call to check in and see what's happening with Xerox, what Xerox doing in these trying times. Mike, thank you so much for joining us, joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thanks, Andy. I'm here in New York City. I'm in my apartment. As we know, New York City is a little bit of the hotbed in the country. So I've been in my apartment now for just about 2 weeks and trying not to go out very often unless it's to walk the dog or to go grocery shopping.
Oh my goodness. So just like the rest of the world, it must be really quiet out there, and I'm sure you're coming to grips with the new way of work, right? Everyone's working remotely and the adjustments.
Yep.
How are you handling it? I mean, I'm sure you work remotely and you're all over the world anyway, so you probably had a little bit of experience with this before. But how are you keeping in touch with your team? How are you guys continuing to be Xerox?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Andy, thanks for doing this. And my hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who's been personally affected by the virus. It is something we have never seen before, for sure. At Xerox, first priority really is around our employee safety and the safety of our partners and our clients and all of our stakeholders, really. So we're very, very focused on that. I have to say, Xerox really put into action under our CEO and his leadership very early provisions to make sure that we were keeping safe, way ahead of states or cities or country governments that were doing lockdowns. We asked employees and really mandated that employees that can work from home, and we did that, several weeks ago. So we really tried to get out in front of this. When it first broke out, the pandemic first happened, I guess, and really, if you look back, it says November of 2019 is when they really think the first case may have come up in China with this. But in January is when I think we started all hearing about it. And at that time, we were thinking it was a lot more of a supply chain issue. We didn't know that the pandemic was going to go global, but we all have manufacturing in China, and it could disrupt, of course, the manufacturing of all of our products in the industry. And so it was, we put together a COVID-19 response team very early on, back in late January, to manage that. And it quickly, as the pandemic started to spread, and especially when it came to Washington State and Kirkland and started spreading all over, the focus really became on employee safety. So we asked people to work from home. Of course, there are some people at Xerox that can't work from home. These are people that are coming into our manufacturing plants or our other facilities. And we have people that come into our facilities, but also our people go into our customers' facilities and they work on site. And so there, with our facilities, of course, we've stepped up all of our cleaning and our sanitizing and making sure that, all of that is as clean as possible, and several runs of that throughout the day. And we've, of course, educated our people on what social distancing really means, washing your hands, and all of that. And we also put in some regulations around, people coming to visit Xerox sites, that you have to fill out a questionnaire beforehand. And, we want to make sure that people are not exhibiting any symptoms. They also haven't traveled to any places where, the virus is really out of control. So we've done all of that. And we're working with all of our clients to make sure that where our people are on site on their behalf, the same kinds of things are happening. People are, practicing social distancing and they're being careful. But listen, specifically to your question, we're using technologies like Zoom and WebEx and Skype. It's been interesting, actually, because a couple of days ago, we use WebEx quite a bit, and we were having a lot of problems because Cisco was having a lot of problems with all of the new bandwidth restraints and restrictions, that people were trying to use from home. I was trying to have a staff meeting. It was supposed to be an in-person staff meeting. This would have been a 2-day staff meeting. We repurposed it to a WebEx call for 6 hours. We could not get the call started, and nobody could hear audio. So we had to quickly leave WebEx, and we went on to Skype. So now we had our slides in WebEx and our audio in Skype, and we managed for those 6 hours together with my staff. So you find ways to work, whatever the platform is. Using these kinds of technologies can really help, and we can be productive. Luckily, we're at a time where we do all have internet at the home. We all have mobile technology. We have, cameras on our laptops very normally. So we're just, working together with our clients, with our customers, with our partners, trying to keep in touch with them, making sure, they know what we're doing to make sure that we have the right supply chain for them. And that we're going to be here. We're going to get through this. This is a terrible situation that we're all going through around the world, but it will pass, and we will come out of it, and we will be here to serve our clients and partners going forward.
It's amazing how much you've done and what you just covered there, and keeping people safe, keeping your staff safe. It kind of made me laugh, though, that you have all these technologies, we have all these technologies. Xerox is known as as an office company, as a collaboration company, and all of a sudden you have to jimmy together several different ways to pull a meeting together when you've been doing this day in, day out for so many years, and one little disruptive bump, and then all of a sudden everything's up in the air. But fortunately, you've got the technologies, you've got
Right.
You're probably looking at a lot of the things you did a little differently now than in the past. What's been going on as far as, I'm sure you have some pretty critical, tell me about the critical customers you have, the hospitals, the healthcare, the government, the police, the firemen. What do you guys, the first responders and
all of those first responders. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the priority now, keep them running. And
it is.
You in our industry, we're the background of a lot of what they're doing to help them communicate, to help them keep track of what's going on, to help manage the data, right? So
absolutely,
it's right in your wheelhouse. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are right in the middle of it in many ways. The state of Texas, just as an example, is a very, very large customer of ours, and their printing has gone up tremendously through this coronavirus because they are printing a lot of communications to their citizens in multiple languages. Being in Texas, there's a lot of Spanish speakers, there's obviously English speakers and other nationalities as well. And we're working with them to make sure they have everything they need. We got a call last Friday at 5:00 from a state who I don't know that I can mention their name, so I'll just say, kind of broadly a state, saying, we need one of your production presses and we need it now. So can we send a helicopter anywhere you tell us to right now at 5:00 on Friday to pick one up and bring it to our office to start printing critical communications around the coronavirus? By 7:00, the helicopter arrived and they took away the press. So normally, I will tell you, our order to install time is usually a little bit longer. Some of our partners may be laughing because it's usually a lot longer. In these critical times, you rally and you know that you're trying to help a government agency save lives. We have one of the biggest healthcare companies in the United States is a very large customer of ours. And they came to us when the virus broke out and said, we need to come up with a way to understand the patients coming in, who has been tested and who is waiting to be tested, of the patients that have been tested, who has been tested positive versus negative for the coronavirus. And they asked us to just come up with like a piece of paper, kind of something that somebody could take with them. And our team, we actually have, at this particular hospital system, we have what we call Xerox document advisors. And their job is not just to do what the customer asks for. It's really be very creative. They're creative people. They have Big Macs and all those kinds of things. And they said, we can do one better for you. The wristbands that we're printing that have the identification of the patient today is monochrome, but we can actually print that in color, and yellow if you've been tested, green if you're positive. And we put that solution together literally within a few hours. And they are using that in a very, very big way now across the country. So we've done a couple of those things. We had a customer call us and say, look, we're a big customer of yours for managed print services, but all of our employees are going to be going home. And we didn't foresee this, and our employees don't even have a home printer. They're going to need it. We need an offer. And we put something together for them at a very, very aggressive price, because we're not looking to make a profit off of something like this. We really just want to get something to them right away. So for $100, they were able to buy a printer and have that shipped to everyone's home. And the customer was just really, really thankful for that. We also have a lot of customers that have implants in their organizations where they're doing big production print. Some of those facilities are closing, and those customers are coming to us and saying, can you take that work and redirect it to one of your print facilities or one of your partners' print facilities and print that on our behalf? And that is an offering that we have today anyway. We have something called a digital hub and communications platform. Yeah. So it's relatively easy for us to do that.
So how far up to capacity is that? I would imagine that you're getting a ton of offloaded work right now.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would say just in the particular business that we have right now, it's increased, by probably 30% just in the last week. Yeah. But the good news is there is a lot of capacity. And here in the US, we don't have our own print facilities, but we partner with some very big printers in the market. And there's a number of partners in our network. And so really the capacity is almost unlimited. It really can handle whatever our customers need. But we also have customers coming to us and saying, the facility is closed, but the mail is still being delivered. There's no one there to give the mail to the employees, and those employees need that mail. They can't just be, and we might be away from the office for a month, maybe 2 months, we don't really know. So a digital mail solution is one that we also have that we're getting a lot of requests for. And we're using we're using robotics to handle the mail because we don't want our employees also to get infected by the coronavirus by touching the mail. So we're using a robotic solution that manages the mail, opens the mail, scans in the piece, and then uses metadata to get it to the right person. So this is another, thing that we're doing to help clients, through this process. It's a short-term probably kind of thing, but could be something that, could last a long time. I'll mention 2 others to you, Andy. One is we do business with a huge grocery chain in London, in the UK. And we worked with them to come out with vinyl signage on the floors and on the walls that talk about where you should stand in line, or as they say in the UK, where you should queue. And yep, exactly. And they actually show, person A stands here, person B stands 6 feet away, and it's over here, and this is where you should be standing. There's places people can actually stand on. And then there's all kinds of signage around how you sanitize the cart if you're going to go grocery shopping, and all kinds of things around, what you should do to keep safe while you're in the grocery chain. So it's those kinds of things that we've been able to respond to very, very quickly to help our clients, but also to help everybody be safe and healthy as we go through this. And the last thing I'll just mention is we're doing a lot with working towards making sure that we can help with things like sanitizers, ventilators, masks. Our manufacturing and our R&D engineers are working on this right now to help the US government in particular, but governments around the world as well, with all kinds of things that we could be doing for manufacturing, maybe even turning some of our facilities into places where you could be tested for the coronavirus. Because again, we have some big facilities, those people are home, so the sites are empty in some cases, and we can use that to help the government. And just today, one of our financial services customers right here in New York asked us if we could 3D print masks for them. And we're working on doing that for them as well. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on. It's all happening in real time. And we're just trying to do our part, to keep our people safe, to keep the business, afloat, to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help everyone get through this.
Well, you guys sound like you're doing an amazing job so far, and I'm really glad we had an opportunity to check in like this, and hopefully maybe a couple weeks or maybe a month if things are still a little iffy, which they may be. Check back in and see how you're progressing, and I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with me today, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I wish it was under better circumstances, but it's good to see you. Be safe.
Yes, you too. Be safe, and take care of all those Xerox people and all those customers. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.